Manipulation can be tricky because it's often hidden beneath layers of charm and charisma. It's like an onion with all its layers, but instead of making you tear up, it makes you question your own mind. Toxic individuals are masters at manipulation, but do you know their tricks? Here are 9 common manipulative tactics they use to control you. Can you spot them? No. 1. Gaslighting, rewriting your reality. Picture this. You're having a conversation with someone and you mention an event that happened a certain way. The other person counters with, "That never happened." And then when you try to explain how it did happen, they respond with, "You're making things up." This is gaslighting. The term comes from the 1944 film Gaslight, where a manipulative husband tries to make his wife think she's insane by making subtle changes in her environment and then denying them. In a study published in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin, researchers found that gaslighting can have serious consequences, leading to increased anxiety, depression, and even post-traumatic stress symptoms in victims. But gaslighting isn't always so obvious. Sometimes it's buried in more subtle tactics, like the ones we're about to discuss. So keep watching to see if any of these tactics ring a bell for you. 2. Love bombing. Intensity disguised as affection. Have you ever entered a relationship only to feel overwhelmed by the intense affection and attention from the other person? They shower you with compliments, gifts, and sweet gestures. You might think you found the love of your life, but there's more to this person than meets the eye. They're engaging in love bombing, a tactic commonly used by narcissists to manipulate and control their partners. According to a study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships, love bombing helps narcissists create a sense of obligation and indebtedness in their partners, making them more likely to stay in the relationship. But it's not just about showering you with gifts and compliments. Love bombing can also involve intense, almost overwhelming displays of emotion. The other person might tell you how much they love you just weeks into your relationship, or they might introduce you to their friends and family as their significant other, without even mentioning that you're not officially together yet. These actions are all part of a plan to gain your trust and affection quickly, allowing them to manipulate you into a deeper level of intimacy before you have time to fully vet them. 3. Guilt tripping. Turning kindness into debt. Have you ever done something nice for someone only to have them turn it against you later? For example, you might have helped a friend move, but later they might accuse you of being a bad friend for not visiting more often, even though you've been busy with work and school. This is guilt tripping, a tactic some people use to manipulate you into doing what they want by making you feel guilty. A study published in the journal Clinical Psychology Review suggests that guilt tripping can be especially effective when the manipulator has already established a close relationship with you. For example, a parent might guilt trip their child into doing chores by saying, "I haven't asked you to clean your room for months, but now I need you to do it so I can relax before my surgery." In this situation, the parent is manipulating their child into doing a favor by making them feel guilty about not doing it sooner. It's important to be aware of this tactic because it can be easy to fall into the trap of trying to please others at your own expense. 4. Triangulation. Dragging others into conflict. Imagine this. You're in a relationship and there's tension between you and your partner. Instead of talking to you about their concerns, they reach out to a mutual friend to complain about you, involving an innocent third party in your conflict. This is triangulation, a tactic some people use to manipulate you by bringing another person into a conflict to take their side. In a study published in the journal Family Process, researchers found that triangulation can be a way for people to avoid dealing with conflict directly and to protect themselves from emotional vulnerability. But triangulation doesn't always involve bringing someone else into a conflict. It can also mean confiding in others about your problems with your partner or speaking to your partner through a third party rather than talking to them directly. Ultimately, triangulation is a way to manipulate the situation to your advantage by putting pressure on the other person through external factors. Number 5, White knight, creating problems to fix them. Have you ever known someone who always seemed to get into trouble but never learned from their mistakes? For example, let's say you have a friend who keeps getting cheated on. At first, you might feel bad for them and try to support them. But if it happens again and again, you might start to notice a pattern. This person seems to attract toxic partners who cheat on them, but they never seem to learn from their mistakes and keep getting hurt. Some people use this as a way to manipulate those around them by creating problems so they can be the hero who solves them. This is known as white knighting, a tactic often used by narcissists to gain admiration and attention. According to a study published in the Journal of Personality Disorders, white knights often target people who are vulnerable or in need of assistance, and they take advantage of the situation to make themselves look good. It's important to be aware of this tactic so you don't fall victim to someone who's only pretending to help you. 6. The silent treatment, using absence as punishment. The silence is deafening. You're in a disagreement with someone, and instead of working it out, they resort to giving you the silent treatment. They ignore your calls and texts and avoid talking to you altogether. This is known as the silent treatment, a tactic some people use to manipulate you by withdrawing their attention and affection until you apologize or agree to their demands. A study published in the journal Emotion found that the silent treatment can be a particularly effective form of punishment because it creates uncertainty and leaves the recipient unsure of how to repair the relationship. But the silent treatment isn't always so obvious. It can also manifest in other ways, such as refusing to speak to you or giving you short, clipped answers. No matter the form it takes, the silent treatment is a way to manipulate you by making you feel powerless and uncertain. 7. Breadcrumbing, emotional clickbait. Imagine this. You're talking to someone online and they keep stringing you along with compliments and flirty messages. You're hopeful that something might develop, but they never quite commit. This is breadcrumbing, a tactic some people use to manipulate you by giving you just enough attention and affection to keep you interested, but never enough to satisfy you. A study published in the journal Personal Relationships suggests that breadcrumbing can be a way for people to avoid forming meaningful connections and to maintain a constant supply of potential romantic partners. But breadcrumbing doesn't always happen online. It can also occur in person when someone gives you mixed signals and leads you on, but never actually commits to anything. It's essentially a form of emotional clickbait that keeps you engaged and coming back for more. 8. DARVO, flipping the script to avoid accountability. Have you ever been in a situation where someone accuses you of doing something wrong, but then turns around and accuses you of being accusatory? This is DARVO, a tactic some people use to manipulate you by deflecting blame and shifting the focus to your behavior. The term DARVO stands for Deny, Attack, Reverse Victim, and Offender, and it's a way for people to avoid accountability and maintain control in a situation. For example, let's say you're in a relationship and your partner accuses you of being lazy because you didn't do the dishes. You might respond with, "You're always accusing me of being lazy. You never appreciate anything I do," completely shifting the focus to your partner's behavior. DARVO can be a way for people to avoid responsibility for their actions and to manipulate the narrative to their favor. 9. Reflect and reconnect. Now that you're aware of these common manipulative tactics, it's time to reflect on whether you've encountered them before. Ask yourself, have you ever felt manipulated in a relationship or situation? If so, what tactics were used and how did they make you feel? Share your experiences in the comments below and connect with others who have gone through similar situations. Remember, you're not alone, and there's strength in sharing your story. By understanding these tactics, you can become more aware of them and better equipped to handle them if they arise in your own relationships. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends and family so they too can learn about these common manipulative tactics. And if you found this video helpful, please leave a comment below with the topic you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching, and remember, you have the power to take back control of your life.